Here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again.
Boah, schon geil, wie viel die einfach zeigen, bevor die Ankündigung überhaupt anfängt. Ich habe ja jetzt schon Bock auf das Spiel.
At it again, Kenway. I thought you'd be done chasing fairy stories.
Not yet.
Geil.
The anchor's on board and the cable's all stored to be rollicking randy dandy home.
Black Flag resynced.
We fly no colors out here, but praise the lack of them. So let the black flag signal nothing but your allegiance to man's natural freedoms.
If a man plays the fool, then it's only fools he'll persuade, but appear to be the devil. And all men will submit.
We're pirates, kid. We take as we please and become who we like.
But that look ain't you. It's not who you are.
Who am I then?
You're a wonder, Kenway. You've a knack for this kind of work.
It ain't work if you love it.
Ich muss mir mal den Original-Trailer nochmal anschauen. Ich habe das Gefühl, die haben teilweise Szenen hier auch aus dem Trailer geremaked.
Hey everyone. I have to say it is so good to be here. I played Edward Kenway more than a decade ago, and you know, he's one of those characters that never really leaves you. Now, over the past months, we know that you've been waiting, and we know that you've heard things. And today, it is finally time to share with you what we've been working on. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is a faithful remake of one of the most beloved Assassin's Creed games. It's totally rebuilt from the ground up with the latest version of the Anvil engine and enriched with lots of new additions. Resynchronization with Edward's journey and memories. The same story, the same man, but elevated to a new level of immersion and realism to bring you one of the most thrilling swashbuckling pirate adventures.
Bin so neugierig.
And I'm happy to say, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced will be released on July 9th, 2026. Today, guys, you are getting the real deal. The first ever look at gameplay. Everything that's been rebuilt, reimagined, and some behind-the-scenes stories. But enough of my talking, yeah? Let's just jump right in.
Definitiv komplette Open World. Das muss bei einem Remake sein. Nicht diese Insel-Level, wo nur die Hälfte der Insel begehbar ist.
And this is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. 13 years after the original, this remake brings the classic game back to life.
Da hat sich einiges geändert, aber gleichzeitig haben die sich auch echt Mühe gegeben, das Original nachzustellen.
Let's set sail.
Dash my buttons. Your life seems a grand one, if I may say. So full of adventure.
You play as Captain Edward Kenway, a rebellious scoundrel eager to make a name for himself in the pursuit of glory, freedom, and a search for a better life.
seen your face before. You's mates with them pirates down in Nassau.
Shut your bloody gob or I'll fill it with shot, you hear me?
Edward, is it?
After crossing paths with the Assassins and Templars, Edward is drawn into their centuries-old conflict with secret locations and legendary treasures at stake. Along the way, he joins forces with infamous pirates such as Anne Bonny, Charles Vane, and Blackbeard. With them, he helps establish a short-lived, lawless republic following the pirate code and defying empires built on cruelty and greed. Together, in their search for freedom, power, and riches, they'll fight across a treacherous tropical paradise, from dangerous waters to dense jungles, untamed lands, and bustling historical cities. From the grandeur of Havana, the thriving and wealthy jewel of the Caribbean ruled by Templars, to Kingston's bustling trade hub, and Nassau, the beating heart of the pirate republic. Each city offers a distinct atmosphere shaped by opportunities and conflicts. The Caribbean world reaches a new level of immersion and realism, powered by high-resolution textures, enhanced lighting, strikingly detailed environments, and a new dynamic weather system. Even underwater exploration is more expansive, more beautiful, and more perilous than ever before.
Ja, auch mehr Content bitte.
With seamless access to cities and locations, the world feels truly alive.
Ship's docked!
Creating the perfect backdrop for a life on the edge, where freedom is earned and danger is never far away. Time to draw swords, lads. The combat system has been entirely reworked into an action-oriented experience.
Oh, das wird Leute nicht schmecken.
Dual swords, pistols, and hidden blades. Every move now plays a specific role with faster, more fluid attacks and combos. Land a perfect parry to open up your target for an instant kill. Then
Sieht aber trotzdem geil aus.
chained takedowns. Use walls, ledges, and breakables to your advantage. Keep track of your opponents and use all your tools to level the playing field.
Kommt Anfang Juli schon. Ich habe richtig Bock drauf, aber ich bin mir noch nicht sicher, ob ich Day One reingehen möchte.
Whether you're on the hunt or on the run, mastering your environment is key.
Ja. Die wollten das letzte Woche ja schon ankündigen, aber das Timing war, glaube ich, einfach kacke, weil sie das wohl genau dann ankündigen wollten, als dann die Metro-Ankündigung war. Haben sie es auf die Woche verschoben. Naja, also wenn du vor Black Flag die Vorgänger spielen willst, dann musst du auch theoretisch die... Also Teil 2 ist ja eine Trilogie, ne? Musst du eigentlich 5 Spiele noch nachholen. Die Spiele sind relativ kurz, die alten Teile. Ich glaube 3 ist schon etwas länger, aber... Oh ja. Das wird sich so schnell auch nicht mehr ändern, glaube ich.
In the original game, getting discovered meant instant desynchronization. Yes, this was a pretty big pain point. We remember. Now, the action continues. Your objectives
ja, das ist auf jeden Fall gut.
But your target will react, and you must adapt accordingly.
Das ist eine gute Neuerung. Ich glaube 2027 sieht jetzt auch schon langsam ziemlich voll aus.
All these new interactions offer multiple ways to succeed and progress in your missions. Of course, this wouldn't be a real pirate adventure without a ship.
Ich liebe halt auch 2. Also lohnt sich auf jeden Fall, die alten Spiele mehr zu spielen.
You named your brig after a boxy bird.
The Jackdaw. What a beauty. Set sail and freely roam the Caribbean. Now equipped with even more firepower, the Jackdaw can conquer the high seas like never before. With new alternate fire upgrades for every weapon, you now have more power and flexibility to overcome opponents' ships in any situation. You will engage in epic battles, boarding parties, and fort raids. All of these are back and as challenging, dangerous, and exciting as ever.
Ja, also Ubisoft war mal mein Lieblingsentwickler. Auch noch zu der Zeit, wo die Leute schon angefangen haben zu meckern. Aber in letzter Zeit, also ich glaube seit Ende 2024 schon. Habe ich auch so meine Probleme. Ich liebe die Assassin's Creed-Reihe, aber insgesamt ist das Unternehmen Ubisoft einfach so... Verbinde ich nicht mehr mit was Positivem, leider. Die haben sich zu viel Scheiße erlaubt. Da ist das eine Katastrophe hinter den Kulissen.
That's right. You can now find a cat or monkey for the Jackdaw. Engage and plunder other vessels. Steer through violent storms, rogue waves. Or just soak up the sun, regaled by shanties new and old.
For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Hey!
Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced offers a deeper, more immersive adventure that remains faithful to what players love, while enriching the experience with enhanced gameplay features and fresh quests and storylines, including ones for the officers you met earlier and, just between you and me, new narrative arcs involving our old friends, Blackbeard and Steed. Defy empires and relive the era's explosive events amidst the ancient war between assassins and Templars in the ultimate pirate fantasy. Gold, infamy, and adventure await. It's time to raise the black flag again.
With Black Flag Resynced, we set out to reconnect with the heart of Black Flag. From the start, the intention was clear: deliver a faithful and enriched experience grounded in what players loved. We've rebuilt the entire adventure using our latest Anvil engine. Expect fully overhauled visuals, new additions that deepen its world, and enhanced gameplay both on land and at sea. Movement now flows more naturally from one action to the next, whether you're doing parkour across rooftops in Havana or fighting on the docks. Parkour builds on the latest design improvements from recent Assassin's Creed games.
Ja, bei Shadows haben sie es auf jeden Fall schon zu einer guten Mischung aus klassisch und modern gemacht. Wenn sie dabei bleiben, ist schon mal ganz gut.
They open up more tactical routes and subtle approaches, letting you shape the adventure the way you want. Naval gameplay also follows the same philosophy and offers more tactical options. New officers will join your crew with powerful abilities, while the Jackdaw's weapons can be upgraded with new modes to change up the fight. The sea now plays an active role in how you'll be challenged by the elements. Weather and waves will influence how your ship will handle, while preserving the pace and freedom players remember. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced matters deeply to us and to you. That's why we took the time to rebuild it with the care it deserves. This remains a solo, adventure, and character-driven experience. It is not an RPG. The focus stays on how you play and how you explore the world. And as we develop the game, we organize dedicated workshops with our community. These early player feedbacks played an important role in refining many of these elements. Here's a look at their most recent visit.
Hello everyone, we are here at the Ubisoft Singapore studio where we invited some of our biggest Assassin's Creed fans to discover the remake
also bisher, ich weiß nicht, ob ich das verpasst habe, aber bisher klingt es so, als wären sie sich dem Original treu geblieben, haben halt die Optik und das Gameplay verbessert, haben ein bisschen neue Story und ein paar neue Upgrades und so drin, ein paar Kleinigkeiten. Aber ich habe jetzt noch nicht rausgehört, dass das Spiel insgesamt größer werden soll. Von der Spielmap und von den Sachen, die man in der Welt machen kann. Aber wenn es neue Upgrades und so gibt, dann muss es ja auch generell mehr zu tun geben in der Welt, oder? Das klingt schon so, als wäre es größer als das Original. Das verstehe ich noch nicht so ganz. Ob die wirklich versuchen, auch von der Spielzeit plus minus 1:1 an der Vorlage zu bleiben. Was ja scheinbar wegfällt, ist die Gegenwartsstory außerhalb vom Animus. Das haben sie jetzt, glaube ich, nicht gesagt, aber es gab halt irgendwie schon vorab irgendwie Gerüchte oder was darüber und ich glaube den Gerüchten auch, weil das in die Richtung tendiert Ubisoft langsam, dass man sich auf die Animus-Story fokussiert. Und auch wenn ich glaube, dass das Remake besser werden kann als das Original, mir auch mehr Spaß machen wird, diese Gegenwartsstory würde ich schon vermissen, da wird was fehlen.
Together, we explored different approaches, tested ideas, challenged assumptions, and refined choices until the intent felt right again. The team's passion and commitment have driven every step of this journey, and we can't wait for you to see more of what we've been crafting.
Oh, it really is so good to be back in this world. Now, I believe the Black Flag is one of those pirate adventures that never really left the players' minds. And it's also really special to be here today with some of the people who helped shape the game back then and who are bringing it back now. Jean, you were creative director on the original Black Flag, and Paul, you're the creative director on Resynced, who's leading the vision of this remake today. Now, before we dive into what the game is now, I'd love to go back for a moment. Jean, so when you started building Black Flag back in early 2012? 2012. How was the world imagined in the first place? I mean, what were the pillars that were there from day one?
Well, from the very beginning, one of the key central core pillars was fluidity, right? We really wanted a seamless experience, connecting movement, combat, and navigation, all very naturally. And it was the same seamlessness that we were looking for between naval experience and the ground experience, because the other challenges we were facing was to merge actually two fantasies, being a pirate on one side and being an assassin on the other, without any friction. And the sea wasn't just an add-on, to the ground experience. Naval gameplay was really a core pillar from day one. We also wanted a world that feels alive, right? Something that would react to the players, always in motion. And it was very compelling to me to see other people like Paul and his team actually to face the same challenges that we did face back in the days. And I think what helped them craft the game was that a lot of people involved in Resynced today were already part of the game, the original back then.
Paul, so you were already a part of the team back then, right? So, when you come back to a project all these years later, what stayed non-negotiable from the original vision, apart from the fact that, I'm Kenway?
So, Matt, the one thing that was non-negotiable is the original story of Edward Kenway. We have never approached Resynced.
Ist nicht voll langweilig für so einen Entwickler, wenn er dann nochmal mehrere Jahre genau dasselbe programmieren muss, was er schon mal programmiert hat? Wenn man ein Gemälde nachmalt, was man schon mal gemalt hat, das dauert ja nicht so lange wie ein Spiel nachzuprogrammieren.
Jean, and you mentioned before how collaborative the original game was, and can you talk about that, especially with Singapore?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a absolutely team effort back in the time. And I remember actually in 2012, when we first came here in Singapore, meeting Paul and the team to do what we call the blueprint, this week of hard work where the game really emerged from the preparatory work. And Montreal worked very closely with Singapore. Singapore built key parts of Black Flag. The naval gameplay was built on top of the Assassin's Creed 3 naval tech that was developed, you know, in some specific missions. But you were also behind a lot of places, locations, and gameplays, you know, like caves, underwater gameplay, forts, ships, and some major missions like the E3 demo that you worked on.
That's right. Right. So there seems to be like a real sense of continuity here, you know, not just in the game, but in the people making it. You know, one thing that really shaped Black Flag for me was how dynamic the scenes felt coming back to it for Resynced and shooting the mocap scenes in Toronto. The scenes just felt so dynamic, like the original game. And Jean, what was the intention back then, you know, when it came to all the cinematics?
So from the start, and it was a lot of discussion with Kama, the animation director back then, we really wanted the scenes to feel alive, you know, we wanted characters moving, interrupting each other, exchanging objects, you know, and reacting physically. And that sense of movement was really part of the game's identity, I feel.
Right, and when you rebuild a game like this, I guess that becomes a huge challenge, right, Paul? And how did you keep the spirit whilst trying to push it further with all of today's amazing technology?
Well, there are many ways, but to carry on the spirit of Black Flag, we always remembered one thing: to rebuild the game with the original pillars in mind, John's pillars and the original core team's pillars. But the most important thing was the story. Every single small moment in the game had to be rebuilt and crafted. And it took a lot of handcrafting, especially the facial animations. But that's important because that's the soul of the game.
You men are the pariah.
Aber das sieht bisher so aus, als hätten sie das auf jeden Fall gut hinbekommen. Und ich freue mich so darauf, übers Meer zu segeln und diese Shanties zu hören.
By Christ!
And you know, when you add new things to a game,
ja, du hast neue Ideen und Skills, okay, aber ich hoffe, dass sie das auch genutzt haben. Weil bis jetzt reden die halt darüber ein paar neue Nebenmissionen und
Well, actually, I felt like
Haustiere fürs Schiff hinzugefügt zu haben.
Where the original end was ending and when the new content that Paul and the team wrote was starting. And this is something really important. That continuity is very much essential.
You know, Jean, whenever we wanted to change,
mich macht das halt ein bisschen nervös, dass sie es nicht wenigstens erwähnen.
Does this belong here? Would Edward do this? Would John get upset?
Dass es was Neues gibt zu entdecken, neue Bereiche, neue Inseln oder so.
However, as we all know, no remake is complete without additional content. So we have added brand new chapters and brand new missions to the game, including a brand new scene with Edward's wife Caroline that's written by Darby himself.
Yeah, I remember playing it. Jean, so like there's something, I don't know, there's something deeper in Black Flag than just like pirate freedom, you know, and it's
Sie haben aber wieder von neuer Story geredet, neue Missionen.
Yes, absolutely.
Aber sie reden halt nicht über neue Orte, die man erkundet. Das macht mir Sorgen. Sie betonen nur die Story.
Will be granted, you know, that's the good life, plundering, etc. But then in the end, you realize that you lost all your friends. Yeah. Right? And so this is very important because he grows into someone that understands his own responsibilities and that makes him, like you said, very human.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I really leaned into coming back to the character after, you know, more than a decade. You know, it's the same Edward, but there seemed to be like, for me personally, you know, from the scenes that were written kind of, as I said, more dynamism, but also there's a certain kind of weight to Edward's journey, you know? I guess that with Black Flag Resynced, there are some really kind of important decisions to make, right, Paul? And how did you approach those?
So, Matt, with Resynced, we made a clear choice. It is a pure story-driven adventure, and we are fully focused on Edward's adventures in the Caribbean. As a result of this focus, we have elected to not have the multiplayer and not have the DLC. However, Resynced is built from the ground up, new story, new content, and new systems. But we're staying true to its action-adventure roots. Resynced is a 2026 take on the original legend.
Also Koop hätte ich nicht gefühlt und das DLC war sehr zusammenhanglos. Das hätte ich auch nicht erwartet, dass das drin ist.
Right, that played a really specific role in Black Flag when it was released. And so can you explain how it fit the franchise back then?
So, back then in 2013, the present day reflected where the franchise was at. It was a transition moment, especially with Desmond's story and what it meant at the time. But now with Resynced, I think there were some changes were needed.
That's right.
Das Ding ist, die 4 ist auch nicht mehr im Namen drin, ne?
Resynced, we have approached it in a way that focuses on Edward's journey while still connecting.
Das ist etwas, was die meisten irgendwie noch nie gecheckt haben. Ich habe immer Assassin's Creed 4 gesagt. Und alle meine Freunde waren immer verwirrt, warum ich, die wussten nicht, dass es um Black Flag geht.
You know what? I think it's because it's a game full of light.
Yeah.
Yes, there is danger and
violence,
but everything takes
der
place
komplette Titel hieß damals
sky,
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Das wusste niemand aus meinem Freundeskreis. Ich glaube, mein Mikrofon eskaliert teilweise ein bisschen, kann das sein?
Yeah, totally. And the other thing that the people I feel never forget, and certainly I never had, is the music.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. It's the music. Especially the sea shanties. The sea shanties in particular.
Okay, weil das ist gerade komplett auf Anschlag gewesen, das habe ich noch nie gesehen.
We have kept the shanties that everybody loves, but we have also added new shanties. They are connected to the story.
Time ago, everywhere was a long time and a very long time.
So today, we'd like to reveal a collaboration with an artist that's deeply connected to the Assassin's Creed franchise. And this artist has a special place in my heart because of his work on Assassin's Creed Revelations. Woodkid.
Ah, cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's great.
So hey everyone,
Woodkid here. I'm in my studio in Paris now and I have great news for you. I'm back in the Assassin's Creed franchise, this time for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced.
Ja, also es klang wirklich so, als würden sie die Story von außerhalb des Animus weglassen, weil sie es für die heutige Zeit nicht mehr nötig empfinden, die Geschichte zu erzählen, verstehe ich irgendwo. Aber da geht natürlich ein bisschen Story bei verloren, ne? Wenn man wirklich das komplette Franchise spielen möchte, kommt man dann trotzdem nicht über dem Original Black Flag drumherum. Oder man guckt sich eine Zusammenfassung der Story an.
So, I won't say too much, but I can't wait for you to hear what I've done for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced.
Having him return to the franchise, especially for Black Flag Resynced, means a lot to the team. We've been working on a newly reimagined track specifically for Black Flag Resynced, and we can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Ich habe gerade nicht so viel zugehört. Vielleicht haben sie den wichtigen Teil der Story aus dem Original, dass sie den irgendwie über ein Menü erklären oder so.
And this game means a lot to you, and we know that.
Yeah, absolutely. This game means a lot to me, and I'm not saying that just because you guys are here. Just working on a game takes me back.
Mein streng genommen gibt es auch in Shadows halt eine Story außerhalb des Animus, aber man ist halt, man erlebt sie halt von innerhalb des Animus. Das ist schwierig zu erklären.
More than a decade after, and get to revisit and rebuild and reimagine this wonderful world. It's just been such a pleasure for me, and I thank you guys for bringing me back. Before we wrap this up, I've got a little surprise for you. All right, this is something pretty awesome. I saw it today for the first time, and I love it. So here we have an Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced Collector's Edition. It's so awesome, and inside
natürlich wieder 400 Euro
really
oder so.
Stunningly well-crafted figurine of Edward Kenway sitting there, slouched like me, really. And he looks really cool, and it's crafted really well. And inside, there's a notebook with all of Kenway's diary entries and journeys about all of his adventures. And there's also
es gibt auf der Gamescom immer einen Stand, der diese Figuren verkauft.
Some goodies in there for everyone. So this one is really cool. It's the first time I've seen it today. And if you guys like it, then you're going to have to get your own because this one's mine.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
You're welcome to take it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. We can't wait for you to live or relive this thrilling pirate adventure with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. That will launch on July 9th, 2026. I just want to say thank you for all being with us today, and we cannot wait for you to experience it yourselves. Cheers.
Hier ist. Das hat jetzt eine halbe Stunde gedauert. Ich hätte nicht gedacht, dass sie es so in die Länge ziehen, aber es ist nicht anstrengend in die Länge gewesen. Ich habe das sehr genossen,